This group I belong to, we decided to update our contact information. So I created a starter list and I emailed everyone asking for updated info. But I knew I would actually get better results if I printed out the form and brought it to our next meeting. So our project is to take this spreadsheet and convert it into a paper form. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to make a backup. So we can hold control and we can drag this worksheet tab and make a copy. Now we can format it any way we want. On the ribbon, we're going to choose File tab and then click Print and see what we have. We've got page 1, page 2. It's ridiculous. So let's change this to landscape. Most Excel worksheets actually look better in landscape mode when they're printed anyway. We want to do grid lines. Page setup, sheet, print grid lines. Okay. And of course, we're going to maximize the columns like phone and address and the rows to take advantage of this extra white space. But before we do that, let's adjust the margins. And keep in mind that top and bottom, left and right are referring to the preview screen as opposed to the physical sheet of paper. So if we bring the top and bottom down to about a ½ inch, that's the physical left and right sides. And I can actually make the left here, in this case the top piece of the paper, and the bottom piece of paper even a little bit smaller. And now we've got some more room. Let's exit the Backstage view and take a look at this. Now, one of the first things we're going to notice is that there's a dashed line between columns J and K. That represents the page break or the print break. So now we can resize some of these columns like the phone and address and city to give our people a little bit more space for writing. And we can make that state smaller. Just double click between G and H to auto fit. And let's preview that. Although, let's add a shortcut to the quick access toolbar, the print preview and print, and now we can quickly jump back and forth, and that looks good. Next step, make the rows wider. All right, exit Backstage view. Let's zoom a little bit lower so that we can actually see the bottom. We can see that dashed line at the bottom, and we can select these rows, put our cursor between those two row headers. Kind of reminds me of flossing the teeth. And just drag down. That's close. Print preview, page 1, page 2. Very close. We can use scaling. Fit all rows on one page. Everything shrinks, saves us paper. It scales proportionally, so our columns also got narrow. And for this particular project, it's not really what we want because we want to make those columns as wide as possible. So let's turn off the scaling. We're going to make that a manual project. And the other thing is, let's just make these rows even wider and take full advantage of 2 pages. So we have the range selected. We'll right click and choose row height. And 26 is a little bit bigger than 2 pages, so instead of double, we're going to go a little less than that, about 45. And we'll preview that. Page 1, page 2, looks good, fits well. Now page 1 has these titles like first name, last name. It'd be nice to have those headers on page 2. We can do that. We'll exit print preview mode, and in the page layout view, we'll choose print titles. And we can have a row to repeat. In this case, row 1. And let's just jump to print preview and see what that looks like. Page 1. Page 2 looks good. Like it. Now you might remember when we first started, we went to page setup. We went to the sheet tab when we turned on our grid lines. This is the same place where we can see the print area and the print titles. But I want you to be aware that you cannot edit print area and print titles in the print preview mode. You have to leave print preview and go to an editing mode like the normal view. But as you see, this is a great looking paper form that we can now print out, take to our meeting, and gather the information that we need.